One of the most exciting new additions to the OpenAI API is Skills. Skills take AI agents to the next level. Up until now, we've been giving our agents individual tools and custom functions. We were essentially teaching them individual actions they could perform. But Skills are different. Instead of teaching an AI what it can do, Skills teach it how to solve an entire class of problems. Think of it like baking a cake. A custom function might teach the AI how to crack an egg, or whisk the mixture, or measure out the flour, or weigh the sugar. Each custom function performs one specific action. A skill is the recipe. The skill tells the AI exactly which actions to perform, in what order, under what conditions, and how to combine them into a complete workflow. In other words, custom functions are the individual building blocks. Skills are the blueprint that brings those building blocks together. This is a huge step forward. Your AI agents no longer have to rely on one enormous system prompt. Instead, you can package your knowledge into reusable workflows that the AI loads only when it needs them. The result is AI agents that are more organized, much easier to maintain, and capable of tackling far more complex tasks. If custom functions gave your AI new abilities, Skills teach it how to use those abilities like an expert. And that is what makes Skills such a powerful addition to the OpenAI API. Right, let's look at some code. In previous tutorials, we have used this code template to create AI agents using the OpenAI API. This template can be used to create a conversational agent that can be equipped with your own custom functions or with the built-in tools. For this tutorial, to demonstrate the built-in Skills tool, I have added to this template. One change includes these lines of code near the top of the script. In a separate script, we are going to upload our skill bundle to OpenAI. A skill bundle is essentially a plain English description for the AI to follow a sequence of actions using your functions or tools. Once the upload of the skills bundle is complete, OpenAI will return a unique skill ID. We need to save this ID inside our .env file. We will store it under the name OpenAI Skill ID. Inside our conversational agent script, we use the OS module to retrieve that environment variable. The value is then assigned to a Python variable called skill_ID. We will use this variable later when attaching the uploaded skill to the hosted shell tool. The following if statement checks that the skill ID was retrieved successfully. If the environment variable is missing or empty, the script raises a clear error. This stops the application immediately and tells us that we need to upload the skill bundle and add the returned ID to our .env file. This makes the program easier to troubleshoot because we receive a useful explanation instead of a less obvious error later in the API request. I have also coded some simple maths functions. One to add two numbers together, subtract, multiply, divide, and to calculate percentage difference. I have kept these functions simple for the purpose of this video. However, in real agentic workflows, these functions could be far more complex. Once we have defined our functions, we need to create what is known as a tool definition. This essentially explains to our AI how to use the functions we have built. To do this, I used my tool definition builder that I shared in a previous tutorial. For this tutorial, I have updated the tool definition builder to now include OpenAI's hosted shell skill equipped with our skills file. In the tool definition builder, just toggle the option to add the hosted shell with skills. These lines add OpenAI's hosted shell tool to our list of available tools. The first line sets the tool type to shell. This gives the AI model access to a command line environment. Inside the environment section, we set the type to container auto. This tells OpenAI to automatically create and manage a temporary hosted container for this request. You can think of this container as a temporary computer running on OpenAI's servers. Inside that container configuration, we have a section called Skills. This is where we tell OpenAI which uploaded skills should be made available inside the hosted environment. The skill type is set to skill reference. This means that we are referring to a skill that has already been uploaded to OpenAI. We then provide the skill ID using the skill_ID variable that we created earlier. That variable contains the unique ID retrieved from our .env file. When the request is sent, OpenAI uses this ID to locate our uploaded skill bundle and mount it inside the hosted container. The AI model can then discover the skill, open the SKILL.md file, and read the instructions contained inside it. It is important to clarify that this hosted shell does not execute the maths functions we wrote earlier. Those functions still run locally inside our own Python application. The hosted shell is being used to make our uploaded skill available to the model. The skill will explain the overall procedure. For example, it might tell the model to call the multiply function first, use that result in the subtract function, and then calculate a percentage using the divide and multiply functions. The model can read those instructions from the skill. It can then request calls to the custom function tools that we define separately. So in this example, the hosted shell holds the procedure. Our local Python application performs the maths calculations, and the AI model coordinates the two. Okay, so let's look at how to upload our skills bundle to OpenAI. I have written a standalone script to upload your skills bundle. You run this script once to upload your skills bundle, and then from then on, it will be accessible to your AI agent. As always, I will provide this as a template for you to use. Therefore, I will give you a functional explanation of how to use this code. So within your project files, in the working directory of this script, you're going to want to create a new folder. I've named this folder as a functional description of what the skills bundle achieves. Of course, in your code, you can name this folder whatever you want, as long as you remember to update the name of the folder on this line, here, and here. Inside this folder, place your SKILL.md file. You can create a SKILL.md file by simply opening up Notepad, writing a plain English description of the procedure the AI should follow, and saving that file as a .md file. Make sure you don't save it as a .txt file. There is a small bit of metadata at the top of the SKILL.md file where you have to keep to a format. However, the rest of the file can be plain text. See between these dashes, we have named the file and given it a functional description. The AI needs this metadata to understand when to use these skill bundles. If you're unsure how to write a SKILL.md file, you can always get AI to help you. However, a good rule of thumb is to treat it like you're writing a regular prompt. When writing your prompt, it's good to use what is known as the intern test. Write it with a level of language and information where, for example, someone like an intern new to a business with no prior knowledge would be able to understand and carry out the instructions. In this skill.md file, I have defined what functions are available to use and in what order to use them. These are the simple maths functions I wrote earlier. I have also explained how each of the arguments passed to the function should be filled in, and also explained what the outputs mean. Great! If we head back to our upload script, we run the code and upload our skill bundle to OpenAI. Once the code has finished running, if everything has been set up correctly, you will see this output. You can copy and paste the skill ID into your .env file. Once you've done that, you can head on over to your agent with skills and try out the code. In this demonstration, I asked the AI to do some business analysis. It recognized that I was instructing it to use the skill bundle we have uploaded. In order to follow the procedure defined in the skill bundle, it needs some values from me, so it asked me to clarify some values. For a fictional business, it needs unit prices, the number of units sold, our total costs, and the previous year's revenue. I made up some values and typed them in. The AI went ahead and ran the business analysis process we defined in our skill bundle. It triggered and used the functions we defined to get the correct values, and then generated our business report. As always, the templates and code used in this tutorial are available for download in my school community. For those of you watching on YouTube who aren't already members, this is a free community, for now, where you can connect with like-minded people building AI automations and agentic systems. In this community, as mentioned, you can download my code templates. Just sign up, click on the Classroom tab, and click on the Getting Started with the OpenAI API tutorial series. Find the relevant lesson, and the templates will be available for download. As always, I hope this was useful for you. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next one.